Golda's office.
Golda's chair. If we had stood at her grave on the day she was buried, what would we have thought? What would we have said?
A woman died. She was 80 years old.
Born 1898, died 1978.
The last 14 years of her life she suffered from lymphoma, otherwise known as lymphatic leukemia, one of the forms of cancer of the blood, a slow killer disease.
14 years? Did nobody notice?
Well, the doctors, of course.
Why was she so famous? After all, she was only a politician, all right, a lucky politician, at best an accident of history.
No, she wasn't an accident of history. Golda made history. Do you know how many different positions she held?
Israel's first ambassador to Soviet Russia, Labour minister under Ben-Gurion's first government, later foreign minister, and Israel's first delegate to the United Nations.
General Secretary of the Israel Labour Party, and finally, in 1969, Prime Minister. She started from nothing and became the mother image for the entire world.
Tonight, we want to look at her life. We're not in the business of impersonations or impressions. We don't want to give you a likeness of Golda Meir. We want to create a portrait of a woman and her time.
In October 1973, when she was 75 years old and Prime Minister of Israel, she faced the greatest test of her career.
It is the eve of the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the holiest date in the Jewish calendar.
I'm coming. Oh. General Azar, the Chief of Staff falling in the middle of the night? Dado, put him on. Yes? What? What? Oh, no! I knew it already in my bones. Half my cabinet generals, and not one of them could smell yesterday under his nose that today it's war? The intelligence was bad. Never mind, the intelligence was bad. That was yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday. Let's agree to one thing. That word, yesterday, we don't hear again. Today we'll have time for one luxury only, to be attacked. When do you expect it? 4 o'clock this afternoon, so we have 12 hours. Yes? Oh, I see. All right, let me speak with Diane. Well, Moshe?
It's all right, Golda. We don't need to get panicky. We must mobilize, but only what we need to hold the defense. That's our first job.
Dado wants a full mobilization for counterattack.
Dado is too enthusiastic. Counterattack can wait, Golda. At least until we can verify the scope of their attack. And there's the political consideration. If once again the whole
Look, political reasons I don't need to hear. Military, I do.
Mobilize for defense first. Call up the rest later, tonight.
After they've crossed the Jordan? Look, we know what the Syrians have. Over 1,700 tanks. We have, on that front, 177.
When the time comes, we'll have more.
When the time comes. What about the Jordan front? Any movement there?
We don't need to worry about the Jordan front. King Hussein remembers very well what we did to him in 1967.
And the PLO? We know they've got Russian Katyusha rockets. They've been firing them into our northern border towns from their camps in Syria and Lebanon. But what else have they got? Maybe they've got Russian missiles. Sam 6, Sam 7. They had to give them a Jewish name in our honor, Sam. Why couldn't they call them Vladimir?
Whatever they have, whatever they've got, we'll have more when the time comes.
Again, when the time comes. Maybe the time is now. Dada wants a first strike. Hit them before they hit us.
No. We must not preempt. The Americans have told our ambassador in Washington. They've said to Simca Dinitz 100 times, please, Mr. Dinitz, do not preempt. We must not preempt. We'll be condemned everywhere. Nobody will give us anything.
Dado says he can take out the Syrian airfields and missiles by noon if we move this minute.
Well, Dado and I do not agree. You'll have to decide between us.
Look, you're my Minister of Defense. Dado's my Chief of Staff. How does an old woman decide between generals?
You're my Commander-in-Chief. You decide.
I'm what?
You wanted the job. It goes with the job.
What am I going to do with that mumser, that bastard up there?
What? Who's that? Get off the line!
All right. The world calling us a bad name is not such a new burden. But Syrian tanks in our backyard? All right, I agree. We won't preempt, but I'm sorry, Moshe. The call-up must be complete, as Dado wants.
All right. You're the boss.
Even if it's Yom Kippur today. Get me the American ambassador. No, never mind, call me back. I'll wait on the line. Waiting. Yes, Mrs. Meir speaking. Not so good. Our neighbors are calling upon us today. They're coming in Soviet tanks. No, not another border incident, a full-scale war. Our intelligence tells us 4 o'clock this afternoon. Look, Ambassador Keating, I have one message for Washington. We can strike first and won't. Can and won't. We promise won't. It's maybe not too late if President Nixon calls Moscow on the hotline. Do the Russians know? Yes, the Russians know. They all flew home yesterday with their families from Damascus. They supplied the arms. Their best friends supplied the corpses. Yes, please, talk to the president. Thank you. I went to bed a grandmother. I woke up a commander-in-chief. So we do as they say about a first strike. But where are the 48 Phantoms that Nixon promised us?
Now, Mrs. Meir, we're running late. Would you come and sit in this chair in front of the microphone? Can I help you?
No, thank you. I'm all right.
And talk directly into the microphone.
Where is the microphone?
Right here. Are you ready? Wait for my cue.
What are you so nervous about?
Nervous? I don't think I'm nervous. Are you nervous? You don't need to be nervous. All right, boys. Hit your tapes. Now, go, Golda.
Citizens of Israel, ordeal by battle has been forced upon us again. Shortly before 2 p.m. today, the armies of Egypt and Syria launched a series of simultaneous attacks in the Sinai and on the Golan Heights. The Israel Defense Forces, our sons, have entered the fight. We, the citizens of Israel, we too must make any sacrifice for our independence, our freedom, our survival. Our survival. Other people just live. Jews have to survive. One of the first things I remember, I was 5 years old. I remember my father, Moshe the carpenter, nailing planks of wood across the door of our little house in Kiev to keep out a pogrom. Organized massacre. Vicious Cossack horsemen attacking a defenseless village, smashing babies against the wall, slicing the breasts of women. A pogrom. In those days, pogroms were, the fashionable thing. No town without one, with Jews everywhere, mourning, fasting.
Golda, your Momma was calling you.
Yes, Father.
Golda, you hardly touched your blood. You must eat something.
I'm fasting, Father.
What? Fasting, and why are you dressed in black?
Papa, children are dead. I'm fasting for the children they killed.
But if you don't eat something soon, you too will be dead. At least take a bite of bread. I give heart. You dressed yourself in black and you dressed the doll in black. Golda, you have a dibuk in you.
Then I remember I was in the room alone and I heard people running, screaming, "Pogrom! Pogrom!" Hoofbeats growing louder, doors breaking, windows smashed, and the Cossack shouting, "Dirty Jews! Kill the dirty Jews!" And I stood there screaming, screaming, screaming. A dibuk. What is a dibuk? A spirit? A demon? The soul of a dead person enters into the body of a living person and tries to control his actions. A dibuk. My mother too said I had a dibuk in me. Yes, I have a dibuk in me, yes. Over and over inside me it says, live, live. Did I make it up? God said, I set before you two things, life and death. Therefore, choose life. And the dibuk says, here is a new land. More life for all, more life for all. So send the young to die. It has two tongues, this dibuk. More life, more death. This renewal of Egyptian and Syrian aggression is an act of madness. But I am convinced that in the end, no matter what, we shall prevail. Cut. Thank you, young man.
My name is Arya. During her life, I was one of Golda's bodyguards. From the first moment, the lady needed bodyguards. She had some funny habits. She always used to run out of cigarettes until I finally got the idea. I learned always to carry some extra packs. Always an extra pack. Her brand. In my pocket. I don't smoke. You get to know a person very well. There were two of us. Got to know her very well. There was me and Lou Kidar. Lou was Golda's secretary from way back, a gorgeous personality. She always worried more about Golda than ever she worried about herself. When that lousy Yom Kippur war started, Golda stayed in the office. She slept there, if she slept. So on the second night she says, Lou, go home, get some sleep. Lou says, after you, dear lady. I'm sleeping here, says Golda. On that couch for two, there isn't room. First, my dear lady, last night on that lousy couch you didn't sleep 3 winks. That's what Lou said. And second, you can't conduct this war properly unless without you get a fresh dress. But Golda wasn't listening. She was like talking to herself. All those young boys dying, and I can't do anything about it. Very quietly, Lou says, the rabbis tell us, Golda, that a Jew can sanctify the name of God when he dies defending other Jews. Now, Golda was listening. She said, bring me a clean dress tomorrow. I stayed that night in the office to watch over her. Look at her. She fell asleep. Listen, let me tell you something. You don't need to be Jewish to love such a Momma.
Yes, Golda here?
Golda Dado here.
Oh, Dado. Wait a minute, Dado. Yes, Dado, don't be kind to the old. How does it look?
Not good. The Golan is not good. We are facing 400 Syrian tanks.
How many tanks in our Barak division?
The Barak is down to 20.
What?
Less.
It's nothing. It can't be less. Where are the reserves we called up?
On their way up. Still on their way up. The 79th is forming up right now on the road to Yehudia.
So it's a race.
A race for the Jordan. If they overrun our headquarters, we'll have to blow the bridges.
What's the Air Force doing?
Bombing the canal.
The canal is Africa. The Jordan is our back door. Call them.
I did. They'll be on target in the north at first light.
Another hour.
Golda, this is not the Six-Day War. This is not 1967 all over again. This time we are losing planes very fast.
To Egyptians?
To missiles. Soviet missiles. Soviet SAMs. We are flying into the greatest concentration of surface-to-air missiles this Air Force has ever encountered.
The Air Force said they could take out the missiles first thing.
That was yesterday. This is now. Now it's one or the other. Either we fly close infantry support or we take out the missiles. We cannot do both.
All right, keep me informed.
Golda, listen, I'm sorry I said yesterday.
Oh, that's all right. You don't have to apologize.
Thank you. I'll call you back later.
Israel. Born 1948. Died when? A little each day since. 6,000 of us killed that first summer in 1948 out of a total population of 600,000. 1 in 100. It should have been enough. But it never stops. It never stops.
No, it never stops, does it? Goldie, you had a dream of a paradise. What went wrong?
Oh, Morris, I wish I knew.
All your life you've given to the idea of a Jewish state. Next week you'll have that state. And now this will be the one place on earth where Jews are in danger. They'll never accept us here. Even in 100 years, this place will still be the one place on earth where Jews can be wiped out. A second Holocaust. What an irony.
Morris, enough. Enough. What else did we think of but work for it? 15 hours a day in offices and meetings. One morning at 4:30 in the morning, a man said to me, Golda, you don't have to come in early tomorrow. Come at 8.
Why did we come to this beggarly land?
It's ours.
A grocer seer, a great big bargain.
What went wrong? We tried so hard. I remember May 10th, 1948, 4 days before the declaration of the state, Ben Gurion sent me...
Come on, woman! Shut up and put these clothes on.
What is this junk?
I bought it from an Arab woman. She was pleased to get rid of it.
How do I put it on?
Here, now, put your arms in the sleeves. That's it. Now, we'll do it up at the back.
Well, Ezra, here we are. 90 million Arabs around us. They all swear they're going to drive us into the sea, and at the last minute, Ben Gurion sending me to beg for peace.
Put this headdress on.
How?
Do I know how?
Do I know how? All right, give it to me. Let me see if I can work it out. Here, and I then maybe put it here and here. Take this and put it round there and round there. There. How do I look?
Great. You look like a Greek archbishop.
I feel like a Greek archbishop. What do I do if an Arab stops us on the way? What do I say to him?
You don't say anything. You trust my Arabic. You let me do the talking.
Oh, that's all very well for you, but what if he talks to me? What do I say?
Put this veil on and don't talk.
Me? Impossible.
You're telling me. Now, listen, Golda, this is serious. This is very dangerous. We could get killed. So please do me a favor. For one time in your life, shut up.
But
Hey, shut up. Yalla. Come on, woman. We haven't got much time.
Veil. That's all that was lacking in my life. Doesn't make a veil. A veil. Now let me see. How do I put it on? I put it there, and there, and there. There. I don't think this veil will fool anybody. My eyes still look Jewish. I'm so nervous. 90 million Arabs around us. 5 times a day, down on their knees, praying to Allah, praying to God, not for peace, God forbid, but to help them annihilate the infidels. That's us. We're the infidels, you understand? Us, the children of Abraham, we're the infidels. So I've been bundled into these schmutters, these rags, to meet
Mrs. Meir, son?
King Abdullah.
You look very charming in that costume. You could be mistaken for one of my wives.
Is this a proposal?
I see I must not joke with you. It could be dangerous. But welcome. I'm very glad you made the crossing safely. Please, sit down.
After you, Your Majesty.
No, sit. Well?
I can't talk through a veil.
Perhaps that is why we like our women to wear the veil. We are not so progressive as you Jews. We prefer our women to be silent. But you Jews have been very progressive in Palestine. You are bringing to life the swamps and the sand dunes to life. We would like for you to share with us your secrets.
This is one secret. Each year, for 2,000 years, you pray, next year in Jerusalem.
Of course, the Spirit. Truly, it is the Spirit that makes the earth fruitful.
A little work doesn't hurt.
For sure, for sure. But let me tell you, it is my belief that Allah has scattered the Jews across the Western world in order to bring back for us, the Arabs, the Western knowledge. And this is because the reason is we are all, after all, the children of Shem.
Look, in 4 days it's war, and the children of Shem will be murdering each other. Are you breaking your promise to me, that promise you made last November?
I remember November.
Before the UN vote to partition.
But let me remind you, I was the only one among my brothers of the Arab states. I alone accepted the UN partition.
They are not your brothers, they're your enemies.
That is your big mistake. They are my brothers and my enemies. Their view is different.
Their view we've heard.
For them, you are the invaders.
From our brother, Abdul Rahman Azam Pasha, the head of the Arab League. What was it he said? This will be a war of extermination.
He said.
And a momentous massacre like the Mongol massacres of Genghis Khan. Are you joining them? That is my question to you. Last winter you sent me a message saying, 1, you are a Bedouin and so a man of honor.
True.
2, a king beside.
Also true.
And 3, a promise given to a woman you would never break.
Also very true. But you must try to understand, at that time I was alone. Now I am one of 5 nations.
So, the word I bring back is?
Mrs. Meyerson, you alone can avert this massacre.
Oh, I would love to. How?
Do not proclaim your state.
No!
The Arab world at this time, in this region, cannot accept the idea of a Jewish state. Why are you in such a hurry?
2,000 years I can't call a hurry.
Well, wait one more here. But let me tell you, I will make for you a new proposition. I will annex Palestine, not partition, and merge it with my own royal kingdom of Jordan. In 1 year, I promise you, your Jews will sit in my parliament. Even you, although you are only a woman, you too will sit in my parliament.
Sit in your parliament as a minority.
Proportionally, I will take good care of you. I will protect you.
Like the Germans protected us?
That is not fair to say.
50 years you've seen us here, fighting the land.
And I admire it.
Fighting each other, fighting the British Army to smuggle in our survivors. And Arab riots.
What did you expect?
Murderous riots.
They do not love you.
Oh, we know that. But to sit again in someone else's parliament, that isn't what we dreamed.
But it is only a dream. I offer you the real reality. Compromise.
Not 10 Jews would stand for such a plan.
Do not be in such a hurry. Think about it. Bring me your answer before May 15th, and I will take your answer to my Arab friends.
Your Majesty, you have no Arab friends.
Mrs. Meyerson, you have no friends at all.
And I can answer you now. If it's war, we'll fight. And we'll win.
No, you will not win. La la la. You cannot win. Is there more to be said?
Only shalom.
Aywa, salam, shalom. It is so narrow the difference how we say peace.
How many innocent bodies will be buried in that difference?
It is the will of Allah.
Poor man. The only one of our Arab neighbors we could talk to, at least talk. And so, in 1949, when it was finally clear to the entire world that there was an independent Israel, the only Arab leader who talked peace to us was King Abdullah. So what did they do to him, his Arab brothers? They assassinated him.
Golda, companion to kings. Well, who would have thought it? When I knew her, she was Golda Meir at school in Milwaukee. We were at school together. We were in the same class. She wanted to be a teacher, but she had a very bossy mother, said, no high school. Goldie stays in the store with me. So what did Goldie do? She picked herself up, she packed her little suitcase, she climbed out of a second-floor window and took the train to her sister in Denver. And there in her sister's kitchen, she met the whole Michigan gang of Zionists, socialists, anarchists, not forgetting her husband-to-be, Morris Meyerson. Unfortunately, the sister was as bossy as the mother. So what did Goldie do? She walked out on the mother. And there she was, 16 years old, all alone. She got a job sewing underskirts in a clothing factory. She worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for $5. If there is one word that sums up Golda, it is independent, right? You're damn right.
You're telling me what, Moshe? The whole front is collapsing? Pull back and reorganize. Pull back to where? Abandon the canal. Dada wants to cross it. He has a counterattack shaping up. Can't? What do you mean can't, Moshe? You're losing your confidence? All right, I heard what you said. This is not the right time for a counterattack. That's not for you to decide. That's for the generals in the field to decide. Do you think I don't know that if we try to cross the canal and fail, the whole fate of Israel is at stake? Yes, I heard what you said. Call back. What is it, Arya?
Eat. You look grey, you look sick. Did you take your pills?
I think I'm going out of my senses.
What?
Moshe says it's a catastrophe. We have to retreat. If we lose this war, we know what the Arabs do to each other, the tortures they invent. Think what they'll do to our Jews. I'll kill myself.
Look, Madam Prime Minister, all we have here is a lousy bowl of lousy soup. Yes, we know it's poisonous, that's true, but not poisonous enough to kill you. And second, you can't kill yourself before the next election.
If I lose the election, I'll kill myself a second time.
You're joking.
Oh, Arya, have you got a cigarette? I've run out of mine now.
Sure, here.
Thank you. Not a whole pack, just one.
That's all right. I've got some more. Always with the cigarettes. I don't smoke. Remember what I told you? Always the same thing. Exactly.
And I know what an old invalid was good for. Retirement, enough. 5 years ago, when I was 70, in 1968, I retired. I sat in my little garden in Ramat Aviv with my children, with Menachem and Sarala, and in Sarala's kibbutz with my grandchildren. Oh, that little grandson of mine, Giddy, he is so clever. I'm not saying it because he's my grandson. He's just a brilliant child. One day we were on the kibbutz. We were on the lawn there posing for a snapshot. And he said to me, Grandma, why are your legs different? Who says they're different? My eyes say one is fatter. Maybe one of your eyes is fatter. But that little one, he always has the answer. That's what philosophers call the subject-object relationship. Boy, they smear. 5 times a day I get an inferiority complex from that child. Look, I said, first I broke it, then it got phlebitis, then a lunatic threw a grenade into the old Knesset. I made one mistake in my life. I should never have left the kibbutz.
That was my fault. I was unhappy in the kibbutz, so unhappy I became ill, not just sick in the mind, but seriously, physically ill. We left the kibbutz with no money, not a grosh in our pocket, but a whole load of guilt. I got a job as a bookkeeper in Jerusalem. You can imagine what a joy that was. And then the children came. Golda worked hard too. You know how hard it is for a working class woman to keep a family afloat? For a while, she took a job as a laundress in the nursery school where we sent the children, but her heart wasn't in it. Her heart was in the party, in the socialist movement, in her ideals.
What's wrong with ideals?
What's wrong with the real world?
Everything. We have to change the world. Ideals are how we change it.
Children here and now are also an ideal.
Morris, I want them to grow up in a world that's safe.
Goldie, they're not safe now. Last week you were at a meeting in Haifa. The week before that you were at a meeting in Tel Aviv. And the week before that you were at a socialist conference in Geneva. Goldie, I want my children to grow up with a mother. How do you feel if they're sick and you're not there? How do you feel?
Guilty.
Guilty.
Whatever I do, I feel guilty.
Guilty.
To them, to you, to the cause. Get me a Simcha Dinitz, our ambassador in Washington. Lou, tell Chaim Barlev to wait. I must talk to him. And why can't I get through to Washington? No, don't call me back. Keep trying. I'll wait.
In 1948, I went with Golda to Moscow, where she was our first ambassador. I was her military attaché, the rank of colonel. Obviously, we wanted to contact the Jews of Russia. But how? We were afraid to contact even our own relatives, to keep them safe, to hold them, because at that time in Soviet Russia, Zionism was a crime against the state.
I'm still holding for Simcha Dinitz.
So we thought, the synagogue. We'll go to the synagogue. But there, to my great regret, we only found a crowd of shabby old men. So Golda said, on Rosh Hashanah, the eve of the Jewish New Year, the entire Israeli delegation will appear in the synagogue. Inform the rabbi, tell him to spread the word. And what happened? On that day, in that great square, in front of the great synagogue of Moscow, we were mobbed by 50,000 Jews. Old men and women, teenagers, young girls with babies in their arms, Red Army soldiers, Red Army officers, all of them, stretching out their hands and calling out in Yiddish, Goldie, long may you live, Goldie. And there, on that enormous square, amidst tens of thousands of Jews holding out their arms, blowing her kisses, weeping, stretching out their arms to touch her, Golda said to them one sentence in Yiddish: thank you for remaining Jews. A photo was taken of Golda in the crowd by a young boy with a birthday camera. It's a famous picture.
Yes, I'm still holding. No, I won't put down the phone. Try again immediately.
That picture went all around the world. In Siberia, a young girl from Vilna who had been sentenced to hard labor in the lumber forests was sitting in front of a fire trying to warm a frozen hunk of bread when she saw a man spying on her from the forest. She was very frightened. Finally, he whispered to her, "Are you Jewish?" She nodded yes, and he ran across to her, and out of his tattered clothes he took a torn copy of the photo, and he whispered, "There is a Jewish state in the land of Israel." And then he ran back into the forest and disappeared into the trees.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello?
Oh, Simcha, at last, is that you? It's a poor line, speak up.
Hello?
All right, Simcha, I can hear you now.
Hello?
Simcha, stop shouting.
Who's that?
Golda.
Oh, Golda. Hello, Golda. It's Simca.
You don't say. You saw Kissinger?
Yes, I left him at 6.
And the Phantoms?
Kissinger says he knows we didn't preempt, and it was the correct decision.
As medal I don't need. Phantoms will be enough.
And they have to check it out with the Pentagon.
Check out what? Nixon himself promised me.
Golda, you've no idea what's going on here. It's a mess. The police are all over Agnew's doorstep, and Nixon is tied up somewhere with his tapes. Nobody knows what the hell is going on.
Simcha,
Yes?
get the Phantoms. We lost planes today like flies. Dado's just given me a new list here. Tanks, spare parts, electronic things. You'll have it in the morning.
Well, I'll do everything.
Simcha,
Yes?
half this war is being fought by you. Such a thought frightens you?
Of course it frightens me.
Good. And in my old age, I'm in the munitions business. Munitions business. Evil. So much evil and so much suffering. Where did it come from, Morris, all the evil? It looks so easy. Build a new land and make new people, young people, hard workers, farmers, builders, manual workers, happy.
You did think to be happy once. 1916, I remember.
When you came to Milwaukee, Morris, I was the happiest person in the world, yes.
I thought, Golda, my letter is no way. I'm tired of living with you in a mailbox. So I decided to come.
Oh, Morris, I've told you I love you.
I want us to be married now.
But there's something else now.
Something else?
Oh, you don't have to be jealous. Why do you always get so jealous? It's not another man. It's a country. It's an idea. It's a great ideal. Palestine.
So what does he do for a living, this Meir of yours?
He's a sign painter. Papa, I've told you 100 times. His name is Morris, not Meir.
All right, Morris Meyerson, Mr. Goodstein owns a real estate office, and what is furthermore, his papa owns a jewelry store in Cincinnati.
He's an old man, Mr. Goodstein.
But what does he do, a sign painter? And what are you talking, old? All of a sudden he's old? Mr. Goodstein is not old.
He's in his 30s, Mr. Goodstein. He paints signs.
Who?
Morris.
Who's Morris?
Morris Meyerson.
Oh, that one, Meyer! Bloomer! We have here a certain Meyer Morrison.
Not Meyer Morrison, Morris Meyerson.
Morris Meyerson, Meyer Morrison. Why do I have to learn his name? Mr. Goodstein's name I already know. Bloomer, we have enough in the party. Should take a little fight with us. What? No, not Goodstein, the other one, Meyer, the sign. What? All right, I heard, yeah, all right. I'll talk to her. Golda, what is this your mother is telling me? There are leaflets on the street. You will stand on a box of soaps on the corner and make a speech outside the synagogue?
Inside the synagogue, they don't let me talk.
Then you're a man, you can talk inside the synagogue.
Oh, Papa.
So, wait until you're a man, and in the meanwhile, don't talk. Don't talk!
I'm not deaf, Papa. I'm just female. And I'm talking tonight on the street corner. All the comrades are meeting me there. It's for Palestine.
I will meet you there, and on the street by the hair, I will drag you home. You heard me, Golda? By the hair! I mean it! Hey, why does this have to happen to me?
You see, the thing is, I didn't want to be Morris's wife, but I didn't want not to be Morris's wife. It's a bissel not clear, huh? You see, Morris, the thing is, women live so small, stuck in the kitchen, while outside the whole world is waiting for us to come and change it.
Goldie child, Goldie child. For thousands of years, men have been trying to change the world, always for the worse.
I can't just stand around making matzo balls.
Why not? You make excellent matzo balls.
In Pinsk this year, you remember we discussed it. Petliura lined up the Jews outside the old church and shot them. Whole families shot them. Families we knew.
Things are different here.
Here will disappear.
Well, maybe we should. Who needs Jews? Who needs Jews? It's nature's way with the superfluous.
Marry you here, I'll disappear.
For that you needn't worry, because meanwhile your papa has said he won't let you marry me at all.
I'll give the answer, not Papa.
So it's yes?
So it's maybe.
Goldie, have pity on me.
Oh, Morris, you're a wonderful person and know all the things I don't. Poetry, music, literature.
So how does it help me?
But a life so squeezed in. Oh, someday there'll be a world where poor Jews open up like flowers. No meanness, no war, no disease or capitalist inequality.
All right, someday. But meanwhile?
Meanwhile, I want a part in building someday. There, the women are ploughing the land, sharing with the men the dangers and hard work.
Where? Women where?
Palestine.
Palestine?
New women, pioneers. Oh, wives and mothers they are also.
Palestine?
But not just wives and mothers.
You want to live in Palestine?
Well, I don't want to be a parlor Zionist.
And not marry me?
Oh, I want to marry you and go to Palestine.
Hey, you're driving me crazy! Goldie child, I like cities, streets, concerts, libraries. I don't like rocks and I don't like Arabs. I don't want to plough the land. I admire the spirit, but let others do that. Human beings suffer. Is it better they suffer in Jerusalem rather than Pinsk or Milwaukee? Is that better? That's better?
I think so.
Hey, I'll go knock my head against the wall.
Lou, is Chaim Marlev still there? Asleep? Wake him up. Tell him to wash his face and come straight in. Oh, there you are.
Where should I be?
Lou said you were asleep.
Asleep? What is that, sleep?
It's like
I forget what it is, sleep.
it's like a circus in here. People coming, people going. All of a sudden I'm a juggler. New?
It's not hopeless, Golda. You want detail?
Of course.
The reserves are almost up. Now, if we can launch a counterattack here in a pincer movement...
When?
First thing in the morning.
It's dangerous.
Yes, it's dangerous. A ratio of 1 to 3 we can absorb. Unfortunately, in this war, we are facing 1 to 5.
1 to 5? Oh, my God.
Yes, so that's why we must decide. Do I go ahead?
Dado just called. He's counterattacking on the Suez.
He didn't tell me when.
First thing in the morning. We're fighting on 3 fronts.
What 3?
Egypt, Syria,
That's 2.
and time. At the UN, Ivan is expecting a move from the Soviets for a ceasefire to freeze the lines.
Of course, so they can rebuild and start again nearer our lines whenever it pleases them to break the ceasefire.
Yes, I said no. No ceasefire in place.
Quite right, and don't let them talk you out of it. You're right.
Chaim, do you pray?
Pray? Do you?
I'll try anything. No, Golda, so clever.
What?
My mother Bluma would prove that God exists.
How?
Why does it rain? Who makes it rain? So, from a school book, I explained to her about meteorology, and she said, "No, Golda, if you're so clever, you make it rain."
Rain won't help.
What will?
Killing them. I'll talk to you when I've spoken to Dado. Azak ve'ematz, Golda. Be strong and daring. Hang on.
Shalom, Chaim.
Shalom, Golda.
Killing them. In heaven, maybe. I'll forgive them for killing our boys. But one thing I'll never forgive, making us kill theirs. We're supposed to be a light unto the Gentiles, it says in the Bible. But the Arabs have turned us, the people of the book, they've turned us into killers. And that I can't forgive.
Forgive? Does an elephant forgive? And she had a memory like an elephant. She didn't forgive and she didn't forget. Oh, sure, she was the original Yiddish Momma, Rachel, weeping for her children. But if you got on the wrong side of her, oh boy, better get the hell off the earth. She was a holy terror. I must have raised millions of dollars for Israel. I raised money when it was goddamn hard to raise money. One time, there were 17 of us at a meeting for the fundraising committee in New York. 16 men and Golda. It was an even match. We had a secret ballot as to whether it was realistic to raise $30 million or $50 million. It was carried by one vote, $30 million. But Golda said, I want to know how each one of you voted. And she went round the table, man by man. How did you vote? How did you vote? And yes, I had voted $30 million. She slipped me a note and rushed out of the room. I went after her and stopped her by the elevator, but she turned round and she said, no, 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 it's your fault. You're no good. And I was left there, carrying the note in my hand, shaking. You want to know what the note said? It said, your vote was a vote for the Arabs. I carried that note in my wallet for years, waiting for her to come and take it back. I guess now she's dead, I can throw it away. I forgave her, but she didn't forgive me.
Money. Oh, so much of my life spent snoring for money, begging for money, pleading for money. February 1948, 3 months before the declaration of the state. We knew what was coming, war. And what did we have? Nothing, our little Haganah, our little underground army. They had a few small arms bought by bribery from the British. We knew that Czechoslovakia was prepared to sell us tanks and ammunition, all we needed. We didn't have any money. Ben-Gurion walked around like a zombie, days without sleep. He called me into his office. Golda, he said, I must go, yes. Where to, David, I said. To the Jews of the United States I must go myself and make them understand. Look, David, I said, you can't leave here now. What you can do here, nobody else can. But there, I haven't been there in 10 years, but I still speak a good American. All right, he jumps in, go today. But my coat is in Jerusalem. Without a coat, go. So somebody gave me a coat and...
Welcome back to America, Mrs. Meyerson. You know, I'm really glad to see you.
How are you, Nathan? Oh, my God, I've forgotten. It could be so cold. We don't have much in Palestine, but we do have sunshine.
You picked a fine time to come. The worst blizzards we have had for 100 years.
I didn't want to come. I had to.
But you know, you're looking marvelous. I'm really glad to see you. And do you know, if I were 5 years younger, or maybe 5 years older, I could be a danger to you. I could fall in love with you. No. You must believe me, it's true.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, but thank you just the same, Nathan. Look, I must talk at once with Henry Montour.
Well, that could be difficult. He's in Chicago and all the airports are snowed in.
What's in Chicago?
The Council of Jewish Federations. But that gives me an idea. Maybe you could talk there too, Golda.
Could I?
Well, perhaps we could arrange it.
Arrange it?
But first, I must warn you, it's not a Zionist organization. It's a local thing. For the community. temples, welfare, schools for Jewish children.
Good, then all the Jews of America will be represented
Yeah, but
there.
let me explain you. We have a phenomenon here in America. Well, in fact, it's all over the world. There are certain Jews who are anti-Zionist, as well as some who are pro.
Anti-Zionist?
Unfortunately, yes.
Never mind, call Chicago.
But there are no planes. The airports are all snowed in. You would not be able to get there.
Call.
Well, all right, if you insist. Friends, we have here with us tonight an unexpected visitor from Palestine. Our good friend Henry Montour has asked for time, just a few minutes now, for her to say a few words to the meeting. Just a few words now. Now, back there in Palestine, she is a very important lady, and she is currently a very important lady. Who is she? Who is she? I can't hear. I know I had it down here somewhere. I know I wrote it down myself. Can't read without my glasses. Let's see now. Where were we? Oh, yeah, that's right. She is currently on the board of the Jewish agency there. Well, what do you know? Who'd have thought it? So, put your hands together. A great big welcome to Mrs. Just a moment now. Let me see. I can't read my own handwriting. No, that's a different meeting. Yes. Mrs. Golda Meir. Come on now, put your hands together. A great big welcome. Mrs. Golda Meir, the little lady with a great big job. Over to you, ma'am. Take it away. They all yours.
Schmuck.
That's all right. You don't have to thank me.
I have no written speech. I'll tell you what is in my heart. 54 days ago, the United Nations voted to partition Palestine, a Jewish state here, an Arab state there. 33 nations for, 13 against. But that wasn't the real vote. Millions of corpses crying out from the graveyards of Europe, they cast the real vote. That night I spoke from the balcony of my office in Jerusalem to thousands of Jews hugging each other, singing, dancing. But I was really talking to the Arabs. The plan is a compromise, I said. Not what you wanted, not what we wanted. But now let us live in friendship, Jew and Arab together. On another balcony, an Arab lady was saying to a newspaper man from America, it was printed next day in his paper, let them dance. They all soon will be dead. In May, in 3 months from now, the British pull out of Palestine, and 5 Arab nations wait on the border to begin the slaughter. If we have guns to fight with, we will fight with guns. If not, we will fight with stones. Stones! We have no other answer. What can you give us? I don't mean 2 months from now. I don't mean next month. I mean now. I have come to tell you that tomorrow morning, no, tonight, no, now, we must have in cash $25 million to pay for guns. You cannot decide for us whether we should fight or not. We'll fight. That decision is taken. Nothing can change it. You can decide one of 2 things, whether we win or whether we lose, whether we live or whether we die. And I beg of you, do not be bitterly sorry 3 months from now for what you failed to do tonight.
When she reported back from her trip to David Ben-Gurion, soon to be Israel's first prime minister, the old man was ecstatic. This is what he said. Golda, $50 million. We sent you there for 25 and you came back with 50. Oh, my dear Goldie, when the history is written, it will say there was a Jewish woman got the money that made the state of Israel possible.
For guns.
For guns.
We wanted a new world. We got guns.
Guns.
Change the world, it changes you. There's something wicked in things. Maybe that's the Dibbuk. Tell me, my friend, in the grain of this world, you made so deep a twist of evil in all of us. What for? New? Aha, top secret. I suppose we'll hear from you when you're ready to tell us.
Of course I knew Golda. I sat to the left of her in the Knesset. That's our Israeli parliament.
Get me Simcha dinners in Washington.
I was never an admirer. The lady never changed her mind since she was 13 years old. The world is rotten. People hate Jews. Arabs hate Jews. Everybody hates Jews. It's them or us. No room for improvement, for development, for progress. There's a joke about Golda. They used to say, she's so stubborn, she won't even take yes for an answer. Do I think she ever had doubts? I think she always slept like a rock.
Sleep. Oh, if only I could sleep. Finally I fall asleep, but then there are the nightmares. I dream of Kiev, of our little house in Kiev. Momma, Momma, the Cossacks. I dressed my doll in black and they killed her on the Golan. Tanks, tanks, tanks. Why do they hate us? Oh, why do they hate us? What happened to my call to Washington? Have you got through to Simcha Dinitz yet? Well, where is he? Doesn't he know there's a war on?
Who is it in the middle of the night?
Hello?
Who is it?
Golda!
Who else?
Wake up! Thelma, sugar do, I'm going crazy here. Where are the things?
Kissinger says the president approves in principle all our requests.
In principle? What's that mean? In principle?
Well, they have to charter some civilian aircraft, and that will involve a certain amount of red tape, and that will involve a certain amount of time.
We have no time. Simcha, we're dying here. The boys are dying here. Call Kissinger back.
I can't call anybody now. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wake him up.
What?
Does he know the Soviets are airlifting tanks and missiles to Damascus?
He knows, he knows.
Where are they chartering planes from? The Eskimos?
Golda, I run from the White House to the State Department and back to the embassy. I don't even go home. I'm sleeping here.
You're all sleeping there.
I can't call anybody till dawn.
What time is it there now?
It's 3:30 in the morning.
All right, sleep till 6. Still asking for guns. Sending boys to die. It's the cruelest thing I have to do. But if I can't do it, get out and let somebody do it who can. Oh, how I would love to phone Washington someday and say, please, could you send us a couple of 100 plowshares?
Sleeping well?
Too much.
I'll change the prescription.
Good, I could use some excitement.
I've scheduled some more cobalt treatments.
The cobalt I could live without.
You're wrong. You couldn't.
So, how long do you give me?
Golda.
2 years? 3?
Golda, we're containing it. No doctor can tell you how long.
I ask God.
And?
He doesn't answer either.
He doesn't know either.
The party needs an answer.
The party knows?
No. They know I retired last year. They don't know why. They want me back full time. There's a job to be done. Unify the Labour Party factions into one alignment. Get them to stop spitting at each other.
You and I should live so long to see that happen. Say no. Let somebody else kill themselves.
I'm the only one who has the time. If I have the time.
And if your doctor permits?
I'll say yes.
And if I forbid it?
I'll say yes.
I permit it. Don't forget your pills.
They make me sleepy.
They kill the pain.
Take away the ashtray. I don't smoke on television.
You must be joking. You're the most famous
The
non-stop...
lights are too hot.
No, they're not. We've got to see you clearly. It won't be too hot. Madam Prime Minister, we know how to make television.
People shouldn't see me sweating. It'll worry them. Turn them down.
Mrs. Mayor, trust me. Put yourself in that... Where are you going? I can't do anything with that. Cut the lights in half. Pete, come back. Come back. Better?
Yes.
Do you have a script?
Nope.
Are you making a statement?
I'll make one.
Right. Well, stand by, please. Quiet, please. No, not yet. You take your cue from me and nobody else. All right, quiet and down, studio. Thank you. Yes, it wasn't that funny. All right, stand by. Quiet, please. 5, 4.
Now, I am able to tell you today that the Golan Heights are back in our hands. Our forces are in position at a very short distance from Damascus. The war isn't over, but when it does end, it will end in victory. That is my message.
You mentioned the Golan Heights. What about the Egyptian front?
There we are holding close to the Suez Canal.
Can you enlarge on that statement?
Nope,
Will we cross the canal?
we haven't been invited.
Could you expand?
Nope.
Can you say at this stage of the war what our objectives are?
Peace.
Is that all you're going to say? Couldn't you say a
Peace. I've said it already.
A question in the public mind. What is the cost of this war?
The cost? Oh, every son who falls. It's a terrible price. And no more questions.
Thank you, Madam Prime Minister. And now,
I
ladies...
want to say a word to the mothers. We're a small country. If 5 boys from Jerusalem die, there isn't a family in the whole city doesn't know at least one of them. Israel was never just a country. It's a human frontier. It puts us at the danger point of everything human. And that's what we've given our lives to. And sometimes for. This morning I had a letter from a mother on the kibbutz. She had 2 sons. Both of them were killed on Saturday. I'll read you just the end. Golda, they were 2 happy boys and wanted very much to live. They didn't hear what their general said about them at the funeral yesterday. You have saved the people of Israel. Momma Golda, don't cry for us. Be brave. Thank you.
Cut. Thank you, Golda.
Next time, listen.
I did. And I salute you. And we will win.
Of course we'll win.
She's great. She's a great lady.
I still don't like it. Win? That's what we've given our lives to. But what is the price?
I was not in Golda's party. Never. I was in opposition for 30 years. Before she became Prime Minister, Golda was nothing but a party workhorse, a tough party workhorse, but never popular. In 1955, her party put her up for mayor of Tel Aviv. She wasn't elected, and that same year there was a popularity poll among politicians. She polled 3%. In 1968, the poor old lady finally decided to retire. She was simply too sick to work. So naturally, in 1969, they made her Prime Minister. Suddenly, she wasn't sick. You know what they used to say about Golda? She suffered from psychosomatic good health. Like all politicians, she was a self-seeking opportunist. And she loved power.
I didn't seek power. Diane wanted power. Alon wanted power. And Rabin and Paris, not to mention Begin and his gang. I was just a compromise candidate, a stopgap. I became Prime Minister because that is how it was. The same way that my milkman became an officer with the rank of major in command of an outpost on the Golan. My milkman. Neither of us has any particular relish for the job, but we both do it as well as we can. People often ask me how I felt when I became Prime Minister, when my party voted for me to be Prime Minister. I wish I had the poetic answer. The vote was unanimous, and I remember there were tears rolling down my cheeks, and I held my head in my hands when the voting was over. I was dazed. I'd never planned to be Prime Minister. I'd never planned any kind of position, in fact. I'd planned to come to Palestine, to work on a kibbutz, to be active in the labor movement. It's like with the dishes. Lukidar always says to me, Golda, leave the dishes. The help will wash them later. She doesn't understand. I enjoy washing dishes. They're my dishes. And I prefer washing dishes to all these games of power. If this war ever ends, every dish in my house I'll wash twice. Wash a dish, it's clean. That's power. Wash a politician? How many times would you have to wash him? Would you ever get him clean?
In 1928, you had different ideas about power.
Oh, Morris, don't start again. Don't start again.
Lo and behold, the new lampshade. You
It's
like it?
beautiful.
You don't like
It's
it?
beautiful.
Golda, the kerosene lamp was...
I almost killed a man just now.
Well, coming from you, that doesn't surprise me. Who did you kill?
Morris, I can't go on living this way.
Tell me about killing a man.
This morning, 20 minutes I had to beg the butcher for half a pound of soup bones. Yesterday, the grocer wouldn't even give me bread and margarine on credit. The children went to bed hungry. And now, just now, as I was coming in, I heard that grubber young, that ignorant bastard from the machine shop below us.
The one who makes all the noise?
Yes, I heard him warning the milkman. He said, don't leave milk for that family upstairs.
Why?
Because the milkman wouldn't get his money. So I picked up a piece of iron and started hitting him on the head.
Was he hurt?
Hitting him hard on the head, on the head.
Was he hurt?
Of course he was hurt. If he wasn't such a fast runner, he'd be lying there now like a pickled herring. Very beautiful, the lampshade. Show it to Sarah that she has a sore throat. Oh my God, I sound like my mother. It's not why I ran away from her. It's not why we came to Palestine.
Goldie, things are hard. How much can a bookkeeper make in this paradise?
It's not just the money. I was furious to start with on the way home from the nursery school.
So give it up! I didn't ask you to scrub all the laundry in the whole entire school. It was your idea.
How else do we pay the school fees? We can't even feed the children. We pay out money to the school. Oh, it's not the work either. I worked harder in the kibbutz.
Oh, the blessed kibbutz. We're back on the kibbutz.
I should never have left.
I was sick.
Sick of the kibbutz.
I didn't ask to dig my own grave there.
The worst mistake I made.
No! You made one before.
What?
You married me.
Look, I'm going back to party work.
Somebody invited you?
Yes.
When?
Last week I met somebody in Tel Aviv.
Somebody who?
The Histadrut needs a new secretary of the...
Who invited you?
A new secretary of the Working Women's Council. They're setting up a farm program to train immigrant girls.
I thought you stopped seeing those people.
I'll find a place to live in Tel Aviv. There's a workers' house on Hayarkon.
I live in Jerusalem.
So you can come down on weekends.
No! No!
Today I made up my mind.
So go, but the children stay here.
You'll take them to the office?
Oh, you'll take them to the office?
I'll hire help. There's a school.
Oh, you have it all worked out, you and your comrades in the party.
So jealous of my work and friends.
They steal you from me.
4 years I've given to 2 miserable rooms here. The worst time of my life. I'm 30 years old and what's filling my head? Bills I can't pay. Sarala has a cough. The children's shoes are falling apart. My whole life is bargaining for 2 chicken legs. I'm back in Milwaukee. Look at me. Other people like me for the things you hate. I have a mind of my own, and what I came here for, I will not live without.
You schlepped me here from Denver to this wasteland. And now you want me to live here on my own.
I get smaller every year.
You're letting me down, Golda.
Who let who down? Oh, no, not the lampshade. Oh, Morris, listen, just listen. Maybe if I'm happier, it'll be better for all of us. I'll try harder, be a good wife, and have the life I need.
We'll find out. 2 things I know, Golda. 1, you will never meet a man who will not let you down. The other, I will never not love you. I'll throw this out.
The price. Oh, Morris, such a price I made you pay. We didn't live the life we intended. Forgive me.
I'm waiting for Golda. Tell her Dado.
Yes, Dado? Anything new?
Golda, the Egyptians are sheltering under their umbrella of missiles. They won't come out.
Why should they come out? I'd sit there under my umbrella.
Our strength is speed and maneuver, and they have us tied down in a static wall. Golda, Sharon says he can cross the Suez Canal.
You sent me the maps. I see only one supply route.
You're learning.
Just one?
Well, send me 2.
A crossing was very risky.
Yes, very risky, but if we can get them out in the open, that's our chance.
I don't have an easy heart for it.
Golda, we have only 2 options left. Crossing the canal to end the war is one.
And the other?
Settle for a ceasefire.
Oh. I'll have time to sleep when I'm older. Who? The Minister of Religion on a personal matter? Yes, of course I'm in. Send him right up.
Shalom, Golda.
Shalom, please.
I was visiting the wounded. It's a suffering world.
Why?
God's will.
It's a question I once asked the Pope. He said man's.
Man's?
Man's will, the origin of all evil. He said, you Zionists force your will, the Arabs force theirs. Neither is God's will, and so the suffering comes.
And what did you reply?
I said, you remind me of my husband.
You said that to the Pope.
No, I thought of it afterwards. Yes, we willed this state into being. The Dibuk willed it. So some die and others live?
Golda, do you remember a young soldier called Mordechai Stern?
Mordechai Stern?
Motka?
No.
He asked me to give you this flower, and he
Oh.
said to tell you that he was one of the Cyprus children.
Cyprus?
He once made you some paper flowers there.
Oh, yes, of course I remember Mudka. Cyprus, 1947. Those damn British stopping ships at sea and taking off our immigrants by force, taking them to concentration camps on Cyprus. The pitiful remnants of Hitler's death camps, locking them up again. What got into them?
One of the worst mistakes the British ever made, and they made lots of mistakes.
I was sent to Cyprus by the Jewish agency because we were worried about the children. The conditions were abysmal. There was very little water, and what there was filthy. Nowadays we say polluted. Infants and children were dying of dysentery, and we feared an epidemic. I was allowed into the camp with permission to talk to the people. The children shied away from me. Were they frightened? And the older people, they had no patience to listen. My job was to ask them to let the children take their place on the quota.
Quotas. Jews and quotas.
Yes. We were allowed to bring out 750 a month. And some people have been waiting their turn 19, 20 months, and I was asking them to let the children go first. Each one had a private horror story to tell me, but I insisted. There's dysentery here, I said. 49 infants have died. Someone interrupted me. 50 today. We're afraid of the winter. We're afraid of an epidemic. If we lose the children, we lose the future. No, no. If we lose the children, we lose the children. I went from hut to hut. Now children were showing me the way. Oh, my God, the stories I heard. There were people who'd lost their own children, lost them like you lose a coin or a handkerchief. One young girl who had been sterilized, it was an experiment, and she would never have children. One young mother in a bunker hiding from the Nazis. 20 people afraid to breathe, silent as the grave, and suddenly her baby started to cry. Smother it, they whispered, so she smothered it to death.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Such anguish, I thought I couldn't bear it. And then there were the meetings. Each hut had a committee, and they had to have a meeting. And then there was a committee of the heads of committees, and they had to have a meeting. We Jews are a talkative people. And in the end, they would vote. I waited outside, sitting on the sand. A group of children came up with a bunch of flowers. They're only paper, said the little girl. I made this one. There aren't any real flowers growing here. I've never seen a real flower. And then a very little boy came up close and said, I made this one. You could put perfume on it. Oh, I said, they're the realest flowers I ever saw. I'll always keep them. Then a sturdy little boy with large grey eyes and a mop of ginger hair. What's your name? I said. Mordechai Stern, but they call me Motka. I made 3, these 3. And he threw his arms around me and he hugged me. Motka, I said, choose life.
How did they vote?
They voted yes. Take the children first. Motka was on the very next boat to Palestine. Oh, I still have those paper flowers. Oh, yes. I remember Motka. Please give him my love. Motka?
I'm sorry.
Motka? Our embassy in Washington. Choose life.
Dinich?
Is Golda here?
Yes?
You're seeing Kissinger tonight?
Yes? Later? Very late?
I have a message for him.
Yes?
Tell Kissinger we
Yes?
ask him,
Yes?
see if he can get us a ceasefire
What?
in place.
What?
Try for a ceasefire in place.
But that means we've lost. Is the whole cabinet in agreement?
Not yet.
Golda, what happened?
We don't have the resources to continue. Such losses, men, equipment. If we try to cross the canal and bog down, the casualties are hard to bear.
Oh, God. Oh, Elohim. I'll tell Kissinger tonight. Oh, my God, what a gruesome message.
Tell him it's too hard to bear so much death. The price. What is the price? Morris died here in my house in 1951. He used to come here often and sit alone for hours reading a book. I was away when he died. Morris Meyerson, born Belish, Russia, 1894, died Tel Aviv, 1951. Loved music. Brought with him from Milwaukee all those breakable old gramophone records, Galli-Curci, Caruso, Tetruzini. Loved languages. Read the poets. Read Joyce, Proust, and Freud. Loved knowledge. Went partners with a friend to buy the Encyclopedia Britannica, the survivor to own the books. Always gave the children books as a present. Didn't think much of politics, even less of politicians. Loved the things of the mind, the spirit. He was a strange kind of bookkeeper. Oh, Morris, the best man I knew.
Golda?
Yes, Simcha?
Kissinger surprised me. Don't ask for a ceasefire.
What?
He said, you don't ask for a ceasefire when your back is to the wall.
Then let him send us help. Arms, equipment, ammunition.
It's on its way. It's on its way. They're sending everything they've got. They're emptying the depots in Europe and here in the States. The C-5s are in the air now, a whole fleet of C-5 transport. You will have 14 Phantoms in Israel by Monday. Golda? Golda?
Simcha,
Yes?
thank you.
You're welcome. God, I love that woman. Golda?
Yes?
Dado here.
Yes, Dodo?
The Egyptians are finally on the move. They're coming out into the open. Now we will get them.
Is the bridge ready?
Yes, it's ready. It's about 10 miles from the canal. We're sending in Sharon with its commandos to take out the missiles, and then we'll tow in the bridge.
Use good chains.
We will. That evening, she called us all in to the cabinet room. We sat there all night waiting for news. At first, it was encouraging, but then, at about 4 a.m., we were stunned to learn that the bridge had broken down. It broke down while they were towing it. It was a terrible setback. We waited a few hours to see if they could repair the bridge, but it was hopeless. So the cabinet members all started to leave. They went home, but I stayed there with her. My boy is down there in the fighting. Last week we sent him a birthday cake. He's 19 years old. He's with Sharon in the 7th.
He has a brave commander.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of. Do you have any reports of my son's battalion, the 7th?
They're in the fighting, of course. That's what I know.
That's not just what you know, though, is it? Tell me, Golda. Please, tell me.
I've heard nothing about names.
Numbers?
The 7th Battalion is down to 1/3 strength.
Oh, my God.
It was a gamble. But was anything in this world ever changed except by some who die for it? If there's a God,
There is.
then he made the Dybbuk and the dream and the dying for it. I hope your boy lives.
Thank you. When the children of Israel were in the wilderness, struggling for survival, Moses, all day long, held up the rod of God in his hand, and Israel prevailed. But his arms grew tired.
Yes.
So his brothers held up his arms, and they all stood there, steadfast, till the setting of the sun. Good night, Golda. Shalom.
I can't.
Golda,
Yes?
did you hear about the bridge?
Can it be repaired?
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter. What do you mean? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because we crossed the goddamn canal on rafts.
On rafts? Did you say on rafts?
On goddamn rafts! We didn't need to wait for the goddamn bridge we're crossing now in force. Tanks, artillery, infantry, every goddamn thing.
Thank God.
Golda, this time, I think we'll win.
At this hour, our forces are operating in Africa, on the west bank of the Suez Canal, inside Egypt. The tide has turned. I can't say more. There's still fighting to be done. Still fighting to be done. Is that news? Security? No, we've never had it. All our lives, all we've had is a choice of dangers. And the paradise we promised ourselves, we haven't made it yet. No, this Jewish state doesn't give us security. It gives us something better. Opportunities to be, to do, to hurt, to gamble, lose or win, and to die for something better. 70 years ago, my father, Moshe the carpenter, nailed up planks of wood across the door of our little house in Kiev to keep out a pogrom. I can still hear the hammer. And to come in one lifetime, all the way from the sound of that hammer to life in a state of our own, where we can defend our children and be free and take in every brother in the world who wants to come home. What more can a Jew ask? Our lives have been blessed, whatever the price. When this war is over, you won't need me anymore. You'll be wanting younger blood. I don't blame you. I could use some myself. One word more before I go. The best word. Shalom. 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 that you do. Come to all my shows. It's wonderful.
So Philip was delighted to see you yesterday.
Yes, that was okay.
A tour de force.
How are you doing? Congratulations. That was absolutely stunning. Well done. Brilliant, brilliant. You know, remember Jane? You met Jane.
Hello,
So really, so proud of you. Well done. Oh, it's fantastic.
different from Alice.
A little bit different, yeah. I was hoping you'd break into a Yorkshire accent at some point.
She's just as feisty.
I'm Jack D, and I met Thelma in 2016 or 15, I can't remember which, because I co-wrote a sitcom called Bad Move for ITV, and we needed an elderly lady who lived in a Yorkshire village, and Thelma auditioned for it, and there was no doubt right from the moment that she steps into the room that she is absolutely the right person for it. She not only was very funny and very good actor, but she also had got a heritage of Yorkshire. She grew up in Leeds for part of her life, and so we've been friends ever since. And I've loved working with her. We've done 2 series of that show and a Christmas special, and we've used her as much as we could because she's brought a real kind of comic presence to the show that was exactly right.
She gets her own way.
I was carrying something else, so
Fantastic.
maybe yes.
Alice wouldn't take yes from
I will call you. Yes,
And I'll see you.
what's happening to you.
We will speak.
I talked to someone this week. Last I heard, he had to get out of the flat. I was
Maybe a really long field day.
and I haven't heard what's happening since. Well, he's gone down.
Really,
Like,
working with him on Harriet News. Congratulations, then.
This is Yorgi from Greece. This is Diana from Tufnell Park. And this is Ron Robinson.
One of our post-dinners in the I remember Marilyn.
It wasn't one of the cast, I'm happy.
You've got such wonderful.
Come on, we can go.
It's funny though, how that's people's little way. That's a comedy way of sending out a little bit of love.
Yes.
Can't possibly.
I won't tell you I
No,
like it.
exactly. It's in the fucking.
And my gardening. I've got a house and spent a bit of time
Right, well, I saw you. Thelma's last show on August the 2nd was great.
Now, I bring you regards from somebody. Do you remember the name Anna Thelma?
Oh, good. No.
Well, I'm still in touch with Ricky, her daughter. And so I brought these pictures to show you.
But basically,
Because you were in Fiddle on the Roof at the
Yeah,
time.
that's right.
I said,
Lovely. Yes.
And Ricky sends her good wishes.
Good.
And may you long continue to do what you're doing. Well done.
if we can get one. Yeah. It's a bit dark in here. We'll get there. You really get some stuff. Jack correctly said, do not bring that. Really, really interesting.
You will not be safe in peace.
Tramps of Soho, I would have loved it.
You will continue working.
Built it in the gutter.
Canadian rock. Wonderful. Oh, incredible. And to remember, Canada Holland. I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. I'm right. And to remember Sadie Scott. And yes, so I said to Ricky,
She's now
Give her my best.
I sure when I bought this, this is when Anna played the match.
That's right. Yeah. And I was going
fucked up first time. Definitely. First time she went to a one-woman show, they discharged them 80s. Did you do it in the Crazy Fox show? Festive. Right, well, yeah. Really, really nice.
I love it.